Another big day at the office for the San Francisco 49ers. We have so much interesting stuff to discuss, and it's really feeling good for football to be back in session. Am I right? In this video, we are talking about John Lynch's new best friend and what it means, an update on Trent Williams, the newest addition to the 90-man roster and the message that it sends, and a ton of training camp hype coming out of the first day of open practices. If you're new here, I'm Nate. We are talking the San Francisco 49ers every single day on this channel. It really does help me out if you hit that subscribe button and join in on all of the action. The good news, I think the best news of the day, I'm not going to make you wait until the end of the video. The best news of the day is the San Francisco, or the biggest news, let's call it that. The biggest news of the day is the San Francisco 49ers signed / kind of re-signed Malik Turner using the vacated spot with Trent Williams on the did not report list. There's a lot in that move that we're going to break down later in this video and a ton of hype coming out of training camp, so don't go anywhere. But first, comment below, what are you most excited about from day 2 of training camp? I'll be giving you plenty of things to be excited about in this video. Plenty of things. But just based on what you've seen so far, if anything, or what you've heard, comment below what you're excited about and let us all know so we can be happy with you, so we can join in the conversation with you. Hopefully, you are feeling positive about something from training camp today, because there's a lot for me to be excited about, a lot of contenders in great news, of the great news in this video. So if you do not have anything, stick around to the end of the video, and then you'll know what to comment. You'll know what to comment below in a few minutes. The first piece of news that stuck out to me that I don't want to miss is what came in this tweet, best reported in this tweet by Matt Barrows from The Athletic. Bad blood, GM John Lynch watches every practice from deep center field. Today, he has a partner, Brandon Aiyuk. And actually, there's a lot more coverage of that in other articles and on people's social media profiles. Lots of folks taking pictures of them being together today and kind of just talking about at one point they were watching defensive backs and just all of that wrapped into it. But the obvious message of this is General Manager John Lynch and Brandon Aiyuk are side by side having conversations, talking, and that's a good sign. It's a good sign. It doesn't mean anything. I just read a report this morning, I want to say like 5 o'clock in the morning, that must have been from either early this morning or late last night, about how this current contract situation is not really progressing. There's nothing really happening right now. So I don't know that this really means, they're not having contract talks, but it's a good sign that they're out there, they're working. I think in Brandon Aiyuk's mind, he's doing the best he can to come the 49ers' way. That's why he's physically present and he's not completely holding out. So I love that. I'm going to take that as a positive. Seeing him with John Lynch is kind of the same feel in my mind. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this. If you're like, I don't care that he was staying with John Lynch, don't worry. I'm almost done. I just think it's a good sign in a similar way to being a hold-in versus a hold-out, where you got him working, talking to the general manager, maintaining that relationship, that working relationship in some way, shape, or form, admiring the cornerbacks, defensive back work that's taking place on the field. Okay, I already kind of mentioned this a little bit, but the San Francisco 49ers announced that they have signed wide receiver Malik Turner to a 1-year deal. This is the official press release from the 49ers. In order to make room on the roster, the team has placed Trent Williams on the did not report list. Turner, 6'2", 202, originally entered the NFL after signing with the Seattle Seahawks as an undrafted free agent on July 29th, 2018. Throughout his 5-year career with the Seahawks, Dallas Cowboys, and 49ers, he has appeared in 44 games and registered 29 receptions for 414 yards and 4 touchdowns. Turner appeared in 3 games for the 49ers in 2022. He then spent time in Las Vegas Raiders and Houston Texans practice squads, and so at the 2023 training camp with the Indianapolis Colts. So it has gone downhill for him for the most part throughout his career. You look at the stats for his career, same kind of story. It's not really been moving in the right direction for the guy. But And he was, by the way, he did attend University of Illinois. His last season at Illinois was his best season, and he was the highest targeted receiver on the team that season. But still, he was a UDFA. He was undrafted originally, and he's a guy that I think it's more so kind of what the move means than it is the player that's joining the team, right? This is one of those things that you look at and you say, hey, what does it mean that the 49ers just picked up another wide receiver? We don't have any information that I've seen, at least yet, to suggest somebody like Tariq Owens is being pushed out. So there's not like this. There were, I think, 9 guys on the 90-man when we entered OTAs. So this is number 10, I believe, presumably. Ricky Pearsall's technically like off to the side for a few days, but we'll get to him more later. I think the main thing is the move shows a couple things. It shows, one, that the 49ers are still looking to improve the competition that's happening, the battling that's happening for the wide receiver room right now at training camp. I think Malik Turner probably is seeing himself as a fight for practice squad. I think the 49ers are probably thinking about him in that sort of way. We don't know the details of his one-year contract, so we don't know. Perhaps the 49ers offered him enough money that would make you say, hold on, they see something else, but I don't want to jump to any conclusions there. I don't think there's anything there yet, at least. The main thing is, in my mind, then it leads to what happens if Trent Williams signs this weekend? What happens if Trent Williams is back on Monday, right? Which, by the way, we didn't talk about this the other day, but there is a benefit to Trent Williams being in this little contract situation. And I don't mean the extra spot on the 90-man roster. I mean, there is a value to Trent Williams having a few extra days rest. The guy is 36 years old. You don't want to be putting him, and he doesn't need any extra reps, but you don't want to be putting him through any extra reps if it's not necessary. At this point, at least that's how I feel. Another big story that kind of happened yesterday, but I missed it because some of the stuff that happens after practice I don't get to by the time I'm recording the video, was what Kyle Shanahan had to say about D. Winters. Several people have been asked about D. Winters, but this is an interesting one. Just want you to hear what Kyle Shanahan has to say about D. Winters. If you already heard this, I won't belabor it too far. He made a huge jump, always wanting to see the guys to do that in the second year, and I thought he really did it in OTAs. I think it was nice for him not having Fred and Dre Greenlaw out there, so he gets a lot of reps, and he was ready for those reps. When you go through your rookie year, sometimes things click for guys. And I think being behind guys like Dre and Fred, being able to watch how they work, he's kind of cloned himself after those guys. Just the work ethic, being a pro and just so dialed in and locked into everything. He was so ready for OTAs, and when you're that ready for OTAs, then you get so much better in OTAs, which will allow him to be a lot better here in training camp. I talk about D. Winters, someone who was always ready but never really got the opportunity. Tig was the same, but he did get it because Hufanga's injury. And then when you're ready for it and you get to play through that stuff, it makes you so much better, the experience. And he took that right into the off season. Okay. Happy to hear the positive takes. There have only been positive takes on D. Winters. But talking about D. Winters reminded me of something I didn't put in my notes. Nick Sorensen was interviewed today, and he talked about Malik Mustafa, saying that Malik is out there and he's not thinking and processing slowly. He's processing very quickly. He's able, he talked about like even verbally what he was able to do quickly, what he was saying on the field, how he was able to, showing just primarily how much practice, mental practice and training and studying he's been doing leading up to training camp. So that's a good sign too. Not only does this guy come out there looking absolutely jacked, which Nick Sorensen also talked about, which is kind of funny. Nick Bosa's got somebody he's going to have to, wrangle with the mirror. But it's awesome to hear that he is coming out of the offseason, his first ever offseason as a rookie, and he is up to speed, ready to go, well-studied. He's got that mental fortitude. He's working on the actual studying that needs to be done. So I'm happy to hear that. So much other hype, though, that I wanted to talk about that we just got to just spitball it because we're already at 10 minutes here. Jordan Mason turned a lot of heads today. Jordan Mason was really sticking out in a good way for a lot of people. I went just absolutely searching after I got off of work today to see what everybody out there is saying about, just their reactions to training camp, because obviously I was at work, so I missed it. And a lot of people mentioned Jordan Mason. A lot of people, including Christian McCaffrey, by the way. Let me see if I have those notes up. If I don't have those notes up, I might not. I might not have those notes up, but I don't know. If I find them, I will definitely share them with you. Other good reports, though. YGM, Yetur Gross-Matos, making statements out there today. Had a very productive day fighting Floyd for that starting role opposite Nick Bosa, and only hearing positive things about what he was doing today, so that's good. Ricky Pearsall was out running. Looked to me from the footage like running at like 75, but he's on his way to coming back, and it definitely lines up in my mind, at least. I'm not a professional athletic trainer, but lines up in my mind with where general manager John Lynch was expecting him to be kind of after that first block, so early next week. Trent Taylor also apparently had a couple of impressive catches out there as well. Another former 49er back trying to take another shot, another stab at it. There were additional notes in the 49ers official training camp notes, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up that press release real quick. As detailed by head coach Kyle Shanahan on Wednesday, Christian McCaffrey was a full participant at practice, joining in both individual and team drills in Thursday's workout. The 49ers were testing out multiple. Oh, and by the way, on that Christian McCaffrey thing, so there's an actual, you know what? I might be getting ahead of myself. Yep. I'll just say it right now. So Shanahan talking about this is part of the plan to kind of keep him out of full training yesterday, kind of ease him into it. Part of this whole plan in terms of, I'm hoping that this has to do with the full plan Kyle Shanahan talked about in the offseason about trying to limit his reps and trying to be really, really intentional with him. He's not the only one out there with a specific map of which days he's doing full workouts and all that stuff, but just wanted to throw that out there. All right. The 49ers were testing out multiple offensive line groupings. Heard about this as well. That included Jake Brendel and John Feliciano taking reps at center. So there was some question marks during the OTAs if this was going to happen, if there was going to be this little battle for center between Brendel and Feliciano. So that's interesting. Spencer Burford took reps at right guard, while Aaron Banks and Feliciano also split reps at left guard. So Feliciano's in both spots there. Interesting at left guard, though. Jalen Moore in at left tackle for Trent Williams. And then, what else? Yes, Purdy. A lot of people talked about Purdy today. Lots of positive things about Purdy. All stuff that like wouldn't totally surprise you. Some folks saying he's looking a little more beefed up, a little more bulked up as we expected to see. A lot of people talking about his leadership. A lot of folks mentioning some of the great passes that he made. Didn't miss a beat. I'm really excited. If you didn't listen to his interview, it was either this morning or it was yesterday. I can't remember. If you didn't listen to his interview, he did a fantastic press conference. I love Brock Purdy. I'm just a diehard fan. I love Brock Purdy. Showed he hasn't skipped a beat in terms of timing and chemistry, and wideout Deebo Samuel connecting with the veteran multiple times with defensive sticky backs and coverage. One guy that I was following mentioned just some of the absolute threading the needle throws that he did at training camp today, which is exciting. Love to hear that kind of stuff. Anything else? Yeah, Okay, so another running back increasing his reps on Thursday was Jordan Mason, catching multiple passes over the course of 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 periods. Here's what I was thinking about earlier of what McCaffrey said about Jordan Mason. He's improved so much from the first time meeting him. Just in the meetings, the way he is out at practice, our whole running back room has such a good energy right now. We are all pushing each other, making each other better, but also being there for each other. It's a really fun room to be a part of because you want to talk about guys forcing you to be at your best. Every single one of those guys are doing just that. And maybe that's somewhat for show, but based on what everybody else is saying about Jordan Mason today, I would suspect it is not just for show. He really does feel that way. So that's exciting. I love to hear that. And I'm just hoping we can see Jordan Mason. We've seen flashes from Jordan Mason. I think he can be amazing. So if he can be healthy, if he can get some decent reps that are productive reps so that you don't feel like if Christian McCaffrey's not on the field, we're missing something. We'll always be missing something when he's not on the field. But so that you don't feel that way every single time he steps off the field, that would be hugely beneficial. Isaac Guerrero still injured. I think Cody Schrader is going to be interesting. I have not heard what people, so let me know in the comments if you watched Cody Schrader today, what you thought of him. I have not heard anything about his performance in training camp yet to this point, but I'm excited about the opportunities. And then, of course, Elijah Mitchell is going to be staking his claim as well. So there's going to be a nice little battle there this training camp. This roster is incredible. It is so much fun to be a 49ers fan right now. As always, faithful. What a time to be alive.